Dana White Contender Series is back, and we have 5 fights in the UFC Apex, and you guys know I look forward to Tuesday every single week. We've been on a hot streak lately, especially in Contender Series, so I'm looking to keep it up. I'm going to be breaking down every single one of these fights, so make sure you leave a like on the video. Let me know in the comments what your favorite underdog on the entire card is, and I've noticed that almost half of the people who have turned their post notifications on don't have their notifications in their phone turned on for YouTube. That's not only going to help you see the notifications for my channel, but for any channels that you're subscribing to. It's a new thing that shows us in the analytics. So half of the people who've turned my post notifications on, there has been a lot of you guys have been turning those on. I've been telling you so you don't miss a live stream. We got Wager Wars tomorrow. I've been going live early into the week to give my thoughts when the lines are better. So if you want to get better lines, you want to come through the live stream, hang out for Wager Wars, not where you can get a bunch of the best content creators, the best handicappers in the space, free bets every single week. Definitely turn those post notifications on and go to your settings and check to make sure you have YouTube notifications on, because that's going to help you for YouTube across the whole app. So let's get into it though. First fight on the card, we got Rose Conceicao, aka Rose Brito, taking on Alexis Thainara. Pretty interesting fight here. Early on, Thainara, well, really all week, Thainara has been the underdog, but that has started to make a switch as of today. She's moved to like a -115 favorite, and I do think it's probably the most competitive fight on the entire card. Rose gonna probably have a little bit of a size and strength advantage. She's pretty strong in the clinch. She's gonna look to really, she's more of a striker, but she will try to use that clinch, her strength, and just athleticism. Look at her. The girl's pretty jacked. And she'll use that up against the cage, put girls there, especially if they're initiating the grappling. She'll try to just, like, bully them around, and she's able to do that to a lot of these girls. Now, she is getting taken down in some of these fights, and that's going to be very important in this fight to not let happen, because a girl like Thainara here, her wrestling, some of these shots she's taking, it's working for the most part, but, some of them are just like no setup. She'll just shoot a single leg from like far as hell, and it'll work against some of these girls, lower end of, women's MMA. But I gotta say though, she's got some decent wins. Like some of these, okay, yeah, but she is obviously super early on. And then while only 3-1, only lost to Bruno Brazil. So 2-0, she fights Bruno Brazil, who, yeah, at the time was 2-2, but just had a great win, beat the absolute crap out of Molly McCann. I don't know why I said Molly like that, but anyways, comes back, beats Ryan Amanda, who is in the UFC as well. So are those girls world beaters? No, but it's pretty solid competition. And then these girls, Jungle Fight's a pretty legitimate promotion. She's fighting some pretty tough girls, and as far as Rose, there's really nobody on here. I went and watched this Mayara fight. It's LFA, which is a legitimate promotion, and Elaine Lopez. These are the two fights that I watched because, honestly, I really didn't need to see this. I could see most of it in her Instagram highlights. It's just really low level. She fought 2 decent girls, went to decision. Seems like she can get a little tired, though, even though she's able to go 15 in some of these fights. I don't know if her cardio is that great, and maybe that is because she uses her strength a little bit more than you want to see, at least once you get to the UFC. It's not going to work as much because all these girls are athletic, all these girls are jacked, and yeah, Alexia's a little on the smaller side for the division. Not just talking about the 1-inch height advantage, but she's a little smaller, but she does. She fights on the feet. She's a little wild. The striking, she just kind of throws bombs. It kind of looks like Amanda Ribas type striking. Because she trains, I should mention, she's training at the Ribas family gym, and then Conceicao overtraining there with the Pitbull brothers. So both girls are going to come in shape. Both girls are going to come ready to fight. But I do think Alexia's got that dog in her on the feet, man. She throws big. Sometimes they're a little loopy, but she's going to throw with heat. So Rose, while I do think she's a more technical striker, I don't think it's a blowout on the feet. And then if Alexia can get a takedown, and she's able to take these girls down in most of these fights, if she's able to get on top, even though I do think Rose has a strength advantage and maybe she can get some top time, I think there's much more of a threat from Alexia. So I took Alexia Man, this is the fight of the card that it would have helped you to come through the live stream, because we talked about everybody's on Rose, it seems, but I'm not seeing this line change. I didn't, to be honest, call her to end up being the favorite, but I didn't really see that coming. But I was wondering why it seemed like everybody was betting and picking Rose, but I wasn't seeing that line move at all. And then sure enough, wake up today and she's the favorite ever so slightly. I still think there's value on it, so minus 115 is not bad. I think she's got the more finish upside. This is Contender Series. Rose isn't gonna want to have like a boring decision win. What's the point of coming to Contender Series if you're gonna do that? Fighters go for finishes on here, and I think Alexia is the more dangerous girl. She is smaller. It's gonna be something to overcome, and I do think Rose is a little bit more technical on the feet. But I'm gonna say Alexia gets it done. If she gets to Rose's back once, it's probably over, man. So I'm torn between a decision where it's kind of a war, where Alexia just does more damage, and a rear naked choke. But I'm gonna take Alexia by sub. I'm gonna take her to start the card off with a sub. We'll move on to the next fight, man. Kevin Vellejos taking on Cam Teague. This is a really good fight, man. Vellejos coming off that, he's got a couple wins, but he did lose to Gene Silva. Dana White really liked him because he's a dog. He comes forward, throws big bombs, seems to have, pretty solid wrestling, albeit it's against a lot of low-level competition. But even though a lot of these wins are a little at the same time, lately he's been doing some good work. He went to won the first round against Gene Silva, dude who's just been blowing through top guys, including Drew Dober, Charles Jourdain. On a mission right now. I do think he's probably getting better. He's gotten better since this fight, but at the same time, it's still impressive. It was only a year ago. So, the Perez fight, yeah, guy's got a 12-9 record, but I mean, he looked good in that one. The Contreras fight, legit. That was a pretty tough opponent. I mean, I'm not saying the 6-0 is a little padded for this guy, but I mean, hey, he went out there and did what he should to him. But that Garagori win, that's pretty impressive, man. People used to always crap on Garagori, but he's pretty legit, honestly. Another former UFC guy, so he's clapped some cans early on, but he's been fighting some tough guys lately and beating them up. The only thing that worries me is I do think he's pretty young, pretty green. And it's Dana White Contender Series. He lost his last fight. It went to decision. I think he's going to come in here and try to take Teague's head off, especially knowing he's a big favorite. He seems like a real he's out here trying to fight. Who is he calling out? Mavzar Evloev on Twitter. Dude, slow your roll, kid. Don't get me wrong. I'm on the hate train. I'm in the second card of the hate train for Mavzar, even though, no, I don't hate the guy, but he says some sus stuff and then his fights are boring, so not a huge fan. But at the same time, he would literally pin you up against the wall for 15 minutes. I was going to say beat you up, but, we both know. Maybe not. Maybe that he would get his first finish because he would outclass him. But I do think Vellejos is really good, and if he goes to the wrestling and fights a smart game plan, I think he's the more technical, better guy pretty much everywhere. I will say Teague is a dog, though, and he's big. He's got a size advantage here, not just height. Vellejos is thick, but, Teague is he's just a naturally bigger guy, man. Vellejos really it looks like a bantamweight, to be honest. So, and even outside of that, yeah, okay, let's get to the bad first. Teague, he hasn't really fought anybody. But his last win was obviously how he got here. He beat Austin Lingo, finished him. I watched that fight. I didn't have a bet on that fight, but I had some bets on that card, and so I was watching it. It was the main event, and he got beat up in the first round, and then just Lingo gassed out. I will say it's one thing to beat Lingo, but to finish him is pretty impressive, man. He's 26. You guys know me. It's more of a red flag when guys are 22 or 23 and younger at the UFC level, man. It's just go out there and get better. There's no reason. What are you going to be in the UFC for 17 years? Or even 13 at the lower weight classes? Nah, just wait. Come in when you're 26, 27. But so I like that. I feel like even at 7-0, I really write off some of these early wins from Vellejos. But then again, it's Teague. Some of these Teague wins aren't too much better. So, at least he's going in there and doing what he should. Look, I think Vellejos should be the favorite, but, Teague at plus 360, Teague by KO plus 900. Those are kind of tempting to me because dude's a dog, man. His defense isn't great. He'll eat shots, but I think that's just like a confidence and his durability, confidence, and just the fight in general. And he just like walks these dudes down and kind of big brothers them. I think he's a tough dude to want to be betting minus 500 again. So because the line is growing. So yeah, wouldn't be parlaying Vellejos, even though I do think he's the better guy. Should get the win. I think both these guys belong in the UFC. Even though, 7-0, hasn't fought the best guys. Vellejos, super young. But at the same time, I think these are tough guys. I'd like to see them in 2 years fighting in the UFC. So, yeah, give me Vellejos, but those lines on Teague are kind of interesting to me. Next up, we got Francisco Mazzeo taking on Kevin Christian. And this is actually becoming, this is the second most closely lined fight. And I guess I get it. On the Mazzeo side, there's just not a whole. Actually, I'll start with Kevin Christian because there's a little bit more there that we can see, that we've been able to see. 8-2. At least this guy, has had. I actually like when a guy's had a loss or two early on. Like, get that O out of the way. Now we focus on getting better. He's obviously huge for the division. 6'7". Sometimes can be a little like that. Even at heavyweight, that can be like people are like, oh man, height, reach. It's like, it's not always a good thing, man. 6'7" does mean that he's just a little bit slower, a little bit more hittable. And, we've seen that in his fights. Honestly, his striking is it's not the most technical, but does have big knees in the clinch. He'll try to use his size in the clinch and just batter their body with knees, try to come up top, throw elbows. I mean, he's obviously going to have that height and reach advantage against pretty much anybody at 205. And, I do think he's getting better. Dude's only 29, seems to be taking his career seriously. And there's just not a whole lot on that other side for Mazzeo. Dude's really 2-0 because one win, yeah, I mean, it's a fight, it's part of it, but dude, I wouldn't even recommend watching it. It's a pretty brutal injury, breaks his arm. And then in another one, he's getting beat up and then gets a DQ. So dude's 2-0. He also does seem like he's taking his career seriously. Honestly, I think, like, just if we're talking, on paper, it's like, honestly, 6'7" is excessive for 205, man. Put some muscle on and get up to heavyweight, in my opinion. Honestly, like, Mazzeo looks better for the weight class. But I will say, I do think, his grappling seems super sus. I think Kevin, I should have touched on that. We haven't seen a ton of it, but obviously, and it's lower level guys, but, seems like a pretty decent grappler. And he's obviously is just the bigger guy here. Mazzeo, he's not small for a light heavyweight, but Christian's huge, not just height. Like, this dude's just got a big frame, man. So I do think he's got the grappling advantage. I think he's the bigger guy. I think he takes Mazzeo down, and I think he submits him. If he plays around on the feet too much, man, the only way I really see him losing this fight is Mazzeo knocking him out in the first round. But maybe Mazzeo, we haven't seen a ton, so if you're taking an underdog shot, I get it. But, I got to go off what I've seen. And, if you got Mazzeo at, like, big, almost plus 200, whatever he was earlier on in the week, I get it. I was going to just probably lay off. But at this point, I see Christian on DraftKings minus 130. I'm kind of tempted. Just got, 10 actual fights. Mazzeo, really it's like 3-1 or 2-1 for me. Like, you were getting beat up by a dude I just watched get knocked out by a bum last week. What was that guy's name? I just watched this guy get knocked out by a bum, and and I even really thought he was gonna win that fight. But yeah, Angus Hewitt was beating him up and then doing an illegal knee. It's like, this guy's not good, man. But I think Kevin Christian takes him down and submits him. But I haven't played it yet, but I'm watching that line at minus 130. I'm just like, can I get even money on this? Because it is a low level fight. But we move on to the co-main event. We got Daniel Frunza taking on Vadim Kutsyl, and early on, I'm like, okay, Kutsyl is coming off a 2-year layoff. This guy's record is pretty padded, but again, you do kind of like the fight we were talking about earlier. He started off like, yeah, a lot of these guys, like, even the ones who with decent records, you go through them and it's like they're not fighting anybody at all. But later on, he's been fighting some pretty tough guys. And I will say, everybody's been kind of giving him crap for that Nardiev fight. First of all, Nardiev's a beast. Like, that was impressive to me. Also, just found a way to win. You know, wasn't looking great in that first round, and then he meme KO'd him. Not meme KO'd, but he, you know, finished him, caught him with a huge shot, hurt him, finished him. I will say I'm not as thrown off at the layoff now because, you know, I was just looking into him a little bit and, you know, trying to find out, just checking his socials and stuff. It seems like he's been training hard, man. Like, he looks in great shape. He did some time over there, at least 2 different, like, stints. I don't know. I still think he's at Academy MMA for a lot of his training, but it seems like he's been doing a good amount with Extreme Couture, out there with, like, their fight team, getting rounds in with Sean Strickland. Like, you know, obviously, like, how much are they getting in work every day? No, but, like, he's clearly taking his career serious. It's not like he's just been sitting on the couch for 2 years. And I do think, like, Daniel Frunza, on the other hand, like, he did have a nice KO. Like, what was that, his last fight? Yeah, this elbow was nasty. And, I mean, dude's dangerous for sure. Seems like he's got good cardio. And I will say, Kutsyl, we've seen slow down. Yeah, it was literally with 1 second left. And, you know, Jalen Fuller, that was a good win. Yeah, I mean, he's got, other than that, it wasn't a ton that, you know, high-level guys, obviously, but, you know, neither guys fought the best guys. But, you know, recently both taking a step up in competition and looking decent. Frunza, though, I don't think this guy's a very good grappler, man. You know, first of all, at 6'1", like, what? What are you talking about? Like, that's not true. But, yeah, please fix that. But, yeah, I mean, Frunza, I just feel like Kutsyl can take this guy down, can submit him. Like, Frunza's been submitted twice, and it's not even just about that. It's like, when he is taken down, it just seems like he doesn't have, like, really anything there. He's not, like, doesn't have any real submission threat. He's giving up his back, like, at any point. I think Kutsyl can get, if this dude gives up his back to Kutsyl, he's getting choked out, man. Honestly, I was tempted to bet Kutsyl, even with the layoff, which you guys know, that's a big thing that I like. You know, activity's big, but I think, you know, Kutsyl is just a much better grappler. I think he's got a good fight IQ, and I think he's going to do what it has to do to win. I think he takes Frunza down and submits him. I don't hate Kutsyl inside the distance. I like even money. I haven't played it yet because I'm actually considering a parlay. Haven't played that yet. I'm trying to decide between the two. I'm going to get into the other leg that I'm thinking about in this next fight. But, yeah, give me Kutsyl by decision, second round. Let's move on to the next fight, man. Main event. I'm going to keep this one short and sweet because I know I have gone a little long. We got Bailey Schoenfelder taking on Daniela Voivodkin. I think this is, you know, it's just not a whole... Bailey was a Division I football player for 4 years. He was a state champ, high school wrestler. And then, you know, on the other hand, yeah, he is a little small. And I do think even though he's put some weight on, he weighed in at like 240. It's a lot of muscle, and I'm like, that's a lot. Like, sometimes that's bad, man. That muscle will slow you down. It's almost better to have, like, a little fat at heavyweight. Not crazy, but, you know, at least it does show he's taking his career serious. I do think he is, and, you know, I think he can put Daniela down, take him down easily. I think he's obviously got power in his hands. I am a little worried playing such a crazy line, though, if you're a parlay guy, because Daniela, yeah, don't get me wrong. This dude, like, that 6-0 is ridiculous, man. I know heavyweight especially gets a little crazy on the regional scene, but this dude's fought absolutely nobody. One of these fights I watched, I'm literally convinced. I don't even remember who it was against. I need to look that up, and I'll post it on Twitter or something. That looked fixed. Like, that looked like a fixed fight, dude. So, this dude's fought absolutely nobody. But when you get into this kind of crazy line, and you got a huge guy like Daniela who does have, like, a 25-pound weight advantage... it's just a natural heavyweight when I honestly think Bailey could probably serve to lose a little bit of that muscle, slim down, and make 205. Maybe not. I mean, I don't know about 6'3". I think he's probably 6'2". But, you know, maybe heavyweight's fine, but I don't know. He's not really the biggest heavyweight, though. And I think it'll be okay if he wrestles, but if he stands and strikes with Daniela, I will say, you know, the little bit I can see, he does seem dangerous on the feet. I don't hate... Daniela by KO plus 800 because I'm definitely not playing Bailey at, you know, minus 700. If you were going to play anything, though, I would play over Parlay and Bailey. If you're looking for a parlay piece, parlay doesn't go to decision. It's minus 600 instead of 700. If Daniela wins, it's going to be knockout. Do you really think Bailey's going to just wrestle for 3 rounds in the main event of Contender Series? Even if he does, like, I think a finish just is presented to him. I think someone gets finished here in this main event, especially being a main event in Contender Series. Sorry I went long, guys. The bets, I have Alexia plus 115. I'm probably betting Christian. He's already at minus 130. I think I'm going to bet it. Maybe I'll see if I can get a better line, but I'm going to wait until about fight time. So it's looking like I'll bet it. I'll let you guys know. I am betting it. I'm just going to say that. I'm betting it, even if it just stays at minus 130. Kutsyl, parlayed with main event, doesn't go to decision, is minus 128. I'm either going to do that or Kutsyl inside the distance at even money. And then TKO plus 900 or the money line plus 360. I'm kind of tempted, but I haven't yet. I'll let you guys know on Twitter. If the main event fly, Daniela KO plus 800. I don't hate that, but 2 bets for sure. Probably ended up with 3, and then picking a sprinkle of one of those for a 4th. I'll let you guys know on Twitter. Appreciate y'all watching. I know we're late in the week. Like the video, comment, subscribe, post notifications, all that good stuff. I'll catch you tomorrow. Peace.